And what's your name? Laura. Nice to meet you, Nancy. Oh, go on. I am. Um, definitely here, but yeah, next week I'll be away. Um, southern coast of Cuba for a week on a dive boat. Yeah. No, it's a big 170 foot because it's out of the with the dive shop here in Naples. So there's 26 of us from this dive shop and then another 12 from another dive shop. And it's a tour operator. They do it every week, all year long. So we'll land in Cuba, 2-hour transfer to get to the boat, and then we're on the boat the whole week. And then back. Oh, thanks, honey. Actually have my own. Yeah. Thank you, though. Yeah, I've been a diver for a really long time, but kind of like when you take breaks from a yoga mat, like I got back into it last summer. My son got his junior PADI and I did his checkout dives with him. And all of a sudden I was like, I remember how much I love this. And then saw the flyer a few months ago that they put this trip together, and my best friend from a long time ago, she lives in Alaska, so she's flying right now. We're meeting in Miami tomorrow night and then flying out Saturday morning. So really excited. She's like my ride or die partner. Hi. You are? That's wonderful. Yeah. Isn't that awesome? I still have friends from high school, from Grant. Actually, one really close friend is from kindergarten. And so, yeah, it's the best long friendships. Yeah, at least in your own. Or that's great. How are you feeling today? Oh, good, good. I bet you didn't feel good when it rained the other day.
Oh, that doesn't bother me.
No, it doesn't affect your joints and stuff. Oh, good.
In
Sometimes.
fact, I argue with my husband all the time that that's bunk, but he believes it, so.
I'm okay. I got into a car accident yesterday
Uh-oh.
and I've really never been in one, to be honest. So it was frightening.
Did it hurt your car?
Yep.
It hurt you though.
Luckily I'm fine. I'm definitely a little sore, just thinking, I mean,
Where
that
were you?
whole stress response system, that I talk about so much and learned so much about in my restorative yoga training. Thank God, honestly, thank God that knowledge is in me now and kicked in. So
What kind of a crash was it?
I avoided colliding into the car in front of me and swerved and thought I had enough room, and I knew it was going to be tight, but so the tractor trailer sideswiped me on my right side, but it was my fault, it was my doing, but I felt like I chose the lesser of two evils.
Oh my goodness.
And miraculously no other cars were involved, so, and we weren't hurt, and yeah, but it was frightening. Yesterday. Yeah. Clearly I need a vacation. Yes, I know. Last night, my husband asked me, so, emergency numbers. I'm like, no, there are none. I'm like, I'll be on a boat. Like, it's like, okay, there's a sat phone on the boat. I'm like, oh yeah. And then I pulled up the sheet that had the contact information. It's like, all right, if you must have it.
So he's gonna do all the BMX thing now?
He's gonna have to. There's only one race. I think Aiden's gonna go with a friend Saturday night. There's no state race, so that's good. is a balancing act, right?
Yeah.
So this friend that I'm meeting that's going on this trip with me, she has done a lot of certifications in therapeutic yoga. I still didn't even that out. And so I'm really looking forward to chatting with her about that. And you know, she was saying, we talked yesterday after the crash, and she said, as a evolution, it's almost like we as a human race haven't caught up yet to how busy life is asking us to be, if that makes sense. And, you know, she said she thinks that like with our kids' generation, that they're figuring it out, but like those of us that have been here for a while, that it's a lot, you know, and there's so much pressure to not rest and to do and to produce and to move all the time. So yeah, it's a tough balance. So I'm looking forward to those conversations with her. But definitely recognizing, like, you know, my husband and I had kids late in life. So we're retirement age, we're 55, and we have a long road ahead of us before true retirement. I was actually thinking on the drive here, like, what will that be like to wake up and not feel that pressure to produce something, and just like that it's okay to like go to a yoga class
Very weird feeling.
and walk, and that like and just yeah.
We talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
Those of us.
Do you guys feel like you're gliding into that transition okay?
You know, what I felt like when I first opened my eyes in my bedroom, one of the mornings right after I was, you know, no longer working,
Yeah.
my first thought was, how can it be possible that no one cares where I am or what I'm doing, or isn't relying on me for anything? How is that even possible?
Yeah.
It takes a long time to get used to that.
Yeah.
And every now and then you miss it.
Mhm.
And a lot of women, as we get older, we struggle to be relevant in so many ways. And that's one of the ways in which we don't feel as relevant anymore.
Yeah. And that it's okay to just be.
Right.
To just, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody said to me when I retired from a very fast-paced job, "Well, wait, keep yourself busy." I said, "I'm gonna figure it out one day at a time."
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I felt very guilty doing my grocery shopping in the daytime. because I always did it after work.
It's weird.
Yeah, I really felt, what am I doing here? You know, like, that took a while.
Is this what it's like in the daytime?
Yeah. So I think yoga is a lifeline into aging. I really do. Like, I think I could have probably been a lot sore from yesterday had it not been for this practice. And I took an Epsom salt bath and did pranayama while I was in the bath, just bringing everything down. So I hope these tools, you know, that you're learning here on the mat through this practice are helping you in your own life. I really do. So I'm just so honored to be here and to be able to lead you all in this. So, well, let's get started then with that note. All right, so we're all in a nice, easy seat. Feel your sits bones ground down. Maybe soften the gaze to the floor, and if it's comfortable, a little bit at a time, maybe you'll close all the way. Take an inhale through the nose. Big sigh out through the mouth. And then find a natural breath and observe that natural breath. So no manipulating, just follow your inhales and your exhales through your nose. Begin to do a body scan from the crown of your head Notice how the skin feels on the face. Notice how the muscles in the face feel this morning. Notice the space between the earlobes. Notice the space from the earlobes down to the shoulders. Can you maybe soften the shoulders away from the ears just a little bit more? And then notice the breath in the belly, the gentle rise and fall of this natural breath, and take a moment to just feel gratitude for the breath without having to work, how it naturally flows in and flows out. And then notice how your sits bones, those two bony parts in your bottom, notice how they're sitting evenly. Then take yourself somewhere in nature for a moment. First place that comes to mind, it could maybe be on sand or the earth, maybe you're in the grass, maybe you're in a field, maybe among tall trees. And just imagine your sits bones making direct contact with the earth. One of my teachers calls the earth and the air our two life partners. True it is. So rooting down, imagining these sits bones sort of magnetically in relationship with the earth helps to ground us. The next inhale, just feel the spine lengthening up a little bit. So thinking so much about our relationship with water these days, given where I'm about to head to, share with you a little piece from an article in Chopra, understanding our 5 elements: earth, fire, air, water, space, and their effects on the body. And how when we work to keep them balanced within ourselves can help us feel healthier. So water, or jala, it's the water element, and it's associated with the second chakra. The second chakra is located in our pelvis region. It's called the sacral chakra. Associated with emotions, passions, pleasure, creativity, fluidity, and sexuality. And when we bring this water element, this sacral chakra in balance, we might feel more connected to others, feel more content and calm, be more open to joy and pleasure, and maybe express creativity. When this water chakra, this water element's unstable, unbalanced, our emotions may feel a little out of whack. We might feel dehydrated, tense, stuck, maybe even a low libido. So water nourishes the body. We're made up of a high percentage of water. So connecting to it in our yoga practice can help us strengthen and relax our hips, release tension, become more flexible and fluid. So in our stretches before we move into meditation, I invite you to focus on maybe deepening the stretch with your breath. So letting the breath help to deepen the stretch, to help release tension or unprocessed emotions. Think of your breath as the ocean flow or the ocean wave. We'll do some poses that target the pelvis area. Just all about inviting this water element to help us move more fluidly today. Bring your hands to your heart center. Set an intention as it relates to anything that might have resonated with you in that passage, in that description of this sacral chakra. Any emotions that you might feel are blocked or stuck that you want to work through. And then we'll open with the sound of Om. So take a full inhale and exhale the breath out fully. Flicker the eyes open, and then maybe take the other leg in front. And I want to teach you all one of the pranayama breaths called the Ujjayi breath. Some might be familiar with it. The Ujjayi breath, it's the very common breath in yoga that helps to almost create a metronome for your practice. So just like pianists use that metronome. The Ujjayi breath, and when you do it regularly, it sounds like the ocean or Darth Vader's breath. I always love that description. So take a breath in, and then I want you to exhale through the mouth, making the ha sound. Oh. Now do that same thing, but close the lips and make the same ha sound. So not necessarily a hum, but so you're creating a constriction in the back of the throat so that you feel that constriction on your exhale. So maybe close the eyes. Inhale, making that ha sound, not a hum, but a like a ha, but closing the lips. So inhale. Another inhale. And do you feel that constriction, almost like your tongue is moving toward the back of your mouth a little bit and almost voluminous? So that's the Ujjayi breath. So I'll cue you as we do the movement to invite this Ujjayi breath in regularly. So let's all now move to hands and knees. So finding tabletop pose, you want your knees under your hips. And you want to stack your shoulders, elbows, and wrists. Spread your fingers. Plug into the thumbs, index finger, and the tips of the third, fourth, fifth fingers, and then draw the navel toward the spine. So find that engagement. So we're already now inviting engagement in that sacral area, that area in the pelvis behind the navel. So activating that chakra. And then on an inhale, lift the crown of the head, tilt your tailbone up, finding cow pose. On your exhale, round the spine, push the earth away from you, bring the chin to your chest, cat pose, tucking the tailbone. Inhale back through to cow. And exhale into cat. So move with your breath. This Ujjayi breath. So placing that constriction in the back of your throat on your exhale and continuing to move the breath in and out of the nostrils. Next, cat pose. Stay there in this rounded spine, and then push your seat back to your heels. Keep your arms extended out long in front of you and let the head come in between the arms. Full breath in, full breath out. Inhale back to tabletop. Extend the right leg behind you, toes coming on your mat, and then push back so your right heel drops down. Getting a big stretch for that calf muscle, your foot, your toes. One more inhale and exhale. And then inhale, rock back to stacking your shoulders over your wrists and lift that right leg. Point the toes to the mat, level out your hips and push through that right heel, lengthening the leg. Gaze looks down so that your neck is an extension of the spine. And then inhale that left arm up by the ear, spinal balance. Take an inhale to lengthen and then exhale. Keep that belly engaged as you bring elbow to knee. Inhale, spinal balance, lengthening. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen, push through that heel. Exhale, elbow to knee. And one more time, lengthening, drop the left hand down, cross the right leg behind you. So we're coming into a side bend here, but make sure you're not collapsing in your shoulders. So take a moment, look between your thumbs, draw the belly in, almost like you're hollowing out a little bit, shoulders stay squared, and now take your gaze to look over the left shoulder, catch a glimpse of that toe, and that toe is down on the ground. So you're still flexing that foot, yeah, nice. Push on the toe. That's it, you're getting some nice length in that right leg still. And you're feeling that stretch for the right side. Also probably a little bit for the left hip flexor too. One more full breath in. And out, and then inhale, look back between your thumbs, lift that right leg, drop it back down to tabletop, and then we'll go to the other side, extend left leg. So you're on your toe, and then push back, get that deep stretch for the calf muscle. Use your Ujjayi breath. One ocean of breath, helping to lengthen that muscle. Rock forward on your inhale, lift that left leg, toes pointing to the mat to help keep the hips level. Push through the left heel, and then inhale, right arm lifts up by the ear. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, engage that abdominal area by the navel. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen.
Exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. One more, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen, dropping right hand down. Cross that left leg behind you, flexing that left foot, pushing your toe into the floor, and then draw the navel out in, hollow out. Then turn the head to look over the right shoulder, feeling that whole left side now stretch while you're lengthening that left leg. Beautiful. So try not to let the left shoulder collapse. Yeah. And just turning the head. So shoulders are staying strong. One more full inhale and exhale, and then inhale, lifting the left leg back up, coming back to tabletop. And now separate your knees as wide as your mat. Try and take them as wide as your mat, and then bring your toes to touch. Walk your hands back so you're sitting on your heels. Then reach forward, elbows soft. You can take the elbows maybe out to the sides a little bit, and then drop the crown of the head down. Coming into a wide-legged child's pose. Ujjayi breath. Releasing tension from the low back. Working through any areas of the body that feel stuck. And that Ujjayi breath mimicking the waves of the ocean. Resting your weight on your heels, opening up the hips, and getting a release for the low back. And then lift your gaze and extend your arms out in front of you. And then gently on your inhale, come up, bring your knees forward, and then kind of inchworm. So drop your elbows to the mat, and then inchworm yourself forward onto the belly. Bring your hands by your lowest set of ribs. Hug the elbows into your side body. Next inhale, gently lift into a baby cobra. And then exhale, lower down, push yourself up and back to child's pose. We're going to move through this sequence, child's pose to cobra, 3 more times. So on your inhale, rock forward, bend at the elbows and slide like an inchworm does. Forward, hug the elbows into your side body, lengthen through your low back, lift to cobra. And exhale, lower down, push yourself up and back to child's pose. Inhale, come forward, bending the elbows and sliding forward. Exhale the breath out, and then the next inhale, you lift into a baby cobra. And exhale, lower down, and then inhale yourself into child's pose. Exhaling the breath out. Next inhale, bending the elbows, sliding forward. Exhale the breath out. Inhale, lifting to cobra. And exhale, lower down, and then push yourself up on your inhale, back to child's pose. And then this next inhale, lift up on your knees and float your arms overhead. Palms touch. Exhale to tabletop, and then right into cow pose. And then exhale into cat. So we're adding on here. So push your seat to your heels. On your inhale, lift up onto your knees, arms float overhead. And exhale, tabletop. Inhale into cow. Exhale into cat. Keep that rounded spine as you push your seat to your heels. And then inhale, lift up on your knees. Arms float overhead. Hands to heart center. One more time. Inhale as you come into cow. Exhale into cat. Keep the rounded spine as you push seat to heels. And then inhale, float up to your knees. Arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then take your left foot out to the side. So another side bend here, called gate pose. Other left. So the left side of your foot, you want parallel with the wall. And then take one hand to your belly, one hand to your sacrum, and feel yourself lengthening down through your tailbone. When you do that, your pelvis tilts forward a little bit. That way, when we side bend, take that right arm up to your ear, left fingertips to the leg. Keep the torso in line with your thigh as you side bend. And think about lengthening through the right fingertips. Full breath in, find that ujjayi breath again. Rooting down through the left foot. Maybe the fingertips walk down just a little bit deeper. So when we do side bends, it's not so much about collapsing the side that's caving in, it's about lengthening. And then inhale back to center, bring that left knee in, tuck your toes under and spread your toes. So you feel all 10 toes on the mat. You might stay here, that might be a deep enough stretch, or maybe try sitting back on your heels. 3 breaths in and out. Your own foot massage here. Inhale, come back up, tap out the tops of your feet. And then we'll take the right foot out to the side. Same little adjustment, lengthen down through the tailbone. So you take that arch. A lot of us have a deep arch to start with, so we have to mindfully lengthen down. Inhale, left arm up by the ear, root down through the right foot. As you start walking the fingertips down the leg and reaching through the left fingertips. We open the chest. We try not to come forward in this, but keep that torso. Yeah, feeling that whole side open. The muscles in between our rib cage often get compressed. So side bends help us to open up the rib cage. And when we do that, we're increasing our lung capacity. And then inhale that arm and the right leg back in, come back to tucking the toes under. One more time, 3 breaths, sitting on our heels. Full breath in, full breath out. Full breath in, full breath out. And one more, full breath in, full breath out. Rock forward and come to tabletop, tap out the tops of your feet. And just get positioned in the middle of your mat, stack shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, and then rock your shoulders forward past your wrists. Take your hips over to the right, big circle, back by the heels. Circle comes around to the left, shoulders past wrists, another big circle. Let your breath move you through the circle and then reverse the direction. And then come back to neutral, tuck your toes under. Push your seat toward your heels and then lift the knees and shins about 2 inches off the mat. So notice the low belly is moving toward the thighs. Slowly straighten the legs, but your belly still moving toward your thighs. So when we move into downward dog with extension, then we maintain that spinal extension and the extension in our arms. And then maybe take a moment to pedal out your downward dog. So drop one heel down, bending the knee of the other leg. Just pedal out your downward dog. Fingers should still be spread. Same plugging into your thumbs, your index finger, and the tips of your third, fourth, fifth fingers. And this helps to take weight out of your wrists in downward dog. And then find stillness. Draw the navel toward your spine. When you engage the lower abdominal area, that sacral chakra here helps your hips to move toward the ceiling. So rock forward, come up on your toes, rock forward, feel a rounding of the spine, and then drop your hips down, find plank. Bend your knees as you push back, low belly to tops of thighs, so you're in like a squat. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale as you round the spine, rocking forward, lower the hips, come to plank. Exhale as you bend the knees, pushing your seat towards your heels, not dropping the legs down, and then lift the hips, downward facing dog. Move through that flow. So round the spine as you rock forward to plank. And then bend the knees as you push back. Try not to drop them down. And then lift the hips, downward facing dog. Start rocking forward, rounding the spine as you drop to plank. Then bend the knees as you push back. Hips pushing toward the windows and then hips lifting up. Inhale, rocking forward to plank. Try and get that nice rounding of the back. And then the hips lower, plank. Push back, full extension in the arms. Then the hips lift, downward facing dog. One more time, draw the navel in as you rock forward. Hips lowering you into plank. Knees bending, push back, full extension, then lift the hips up. Look between your hands, walk one footprint at a time to the top of your mat. Inhale to lift up halfway, maybe use a block under the fingertips to help support you in this forward fold. Full breath in. Full breath out, and then walk the feet as wide as your mat. Turn your toes out. Take that block, place it between your heels at the wider position. You might need 2 blocks or have the other block handy, but we're gonna be bending the knees and lowering our seat down to that block. So our sits bones come directly on the block. Elbows coming to the inside of the knees, hands in prayer. So this is called Malasana or squat pose. There you go. So I was too late. I was a second too late. You were there, no, so come try it again. You were there. I'm going to help you with the block position. And holding Malasana, finding your breath here. The Ujjayi breath is perfect for this pose. So think about lengthening the spine up here. The hips gradually open and the pelvic floor dropping down. So really connecting with our water element here in the pelvis area. If there's tightness in the hips, in the squat pose, bring your breath to move through that tightness. One more full breath in, really feeling the breath in that lower abdominal, that navel, that pelvis area. And then open the eyes if they close. Rock forward so you can drop your hands down to the mat or to a block. And then slowly straighten the legs. Coming back up to a little bit of a wider forward fold. Let your head drop down, hands stay on the block or move to the floor. Full breath in, full breath out. And then lift up halfway, heel toe your feet toward each other. Inhale, sweep the arms out to the sides, overhead. Bringing the hands to your heart center. Mountain pose, Tadasana. Inhale, sweeping the arms around. Exhale, lowering down into our forward fold. Inhale, lift up halfway, and then exhale, plant your hands. Step both feet back, finding your plank pose. Lower knees. Hug the elbows in as you lower the chest down. Coming onto the belly. Bring your arms alongside, forehead to the mat. So finding our back bend here on our bellies. It's called Shalabhasana or locust. So turning your pelvis toward the mat, or maybe it's easier to imagine your pubic bone turning toward the mat. So you have a lengthening of the tailbone. And then keeping the forehead looking, or the gaze looking at your mat. Lift your forehead off the mat a little bit. And begin lifting the arms up, only the arms. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Continue lifting the arms and now add the legs. Keep your hips and your pelvis moving toward the mat. The arms are helping now to lift the upper body. Feel one rib lifting off the mat at a time. So Laura, try and keep the gaze to the mat so that you're not creating tension for the neck. Yeah. With each inhale, see if you can lift the legs off the mat a little bit. And see if you can lift another rib cage off the mat. Full breath in. Full breath out. If you feel the shoulders creeping up to the neck, draw them away. And exhale, lower down, turn one cheek to the mat. Full breath in. Full breath out. Turn the forehead to the mat again, taking the same locust pose, or if you want to move in a full bow, bend the knees, flex the feet, reach the hands back to wrap around the ankles, the front of the ankles. On your inhale, press the ankles into the hands to lift you up. Shoulder blades pulling toward each other. Imagine a pencil in between your shoulder blades. Feel the shoulders moving away from the ears. Keep pressing the ankles into the hands to lift and open the chest. Beautiful. And then release. Turn the opposite cheek to the mat. Keep the knees bent and slowly windshield wiper the legs from side to side. And then gently rolling onto our backs. Hug the knees into your chest. Take the knees apart. So separate with your hands, separate your knees wide. So your knees are in line with your armpits, and then turn the feet to face the ceiling. Flex the feet. So the soles of the feet are parallel with the ceiling. Take your elbows to the inside of your knees, and then wrap the fingers around your calves and draw the knees down. Maybe you can reach comfortably for the outside of your feet, the outside edges. If not, keep your hands wrapped around the calves. Your elbows gently pressing the inside of your knees to help the hips open, and maybe start to rock from side to side, a gentle sway like how a boat rocks back and forth on the water. Feel the breath move from the low belly up to the chest and back down. A gentle massage for the back. And then bring the knees together and extend the legs up to the ceiling. And then cross the right leg in front of the left and bend the knees, flex the feet, squeeze your thighs together. Take the hands down to the mat and take the arms a little bit away from your body. And then on an inhale, straighten the legs, uncross, and take the legs out wide. Inhale the legs back together, cross left knee in front of right. Bend at the knees, flex the feet, squeeze the thighs together. Inhale, separate, take the legs wide. Inhale, Inhale, bring them back together, cross right knee in front of left, and then bend the knees, flexing the feet, hug the thighs, squeeze them together. Inhale, one more time, separating the legs wide. Bring them back together, left knee crossing in front of right. Bend the knees, squeeze the thighs together. And then extend the legs straight up to the ceiling. So we're gonna cross the right knee in front of the left again. Bend the knees and then drop the legs over to the left, coming into our twist with eagle legs. Take the arms up by the shoulders now. So coming straight out from the shoulders, palms face up. Little spinal twist here. Releasing the low back from the back bend we did. Full breath in, full breath out. Next, inhale, feel the breath in your belly to lift the knees back to center, and then extend the legs up to the ceiling. Other side, cross left knee in front of right, bend the knees, and then drop them down. If you want to shift your hips over to the left a little bit, you can. And then dropping the knees down for the twist on the other side. Full breath in and out. Arms moving up so they're extending out from the shoulders. And try flipping the palms up so that you have that nice external rotation of the shoulders. And feel the fullness of your breath here, even when it's constricted. One more full breath in and out, seeing where else you can soften in this twist. Next, inhale, gather it in your belly as you bring the knees to center and then release both feet to the mat. Heel toe your feet as wide as your mat. And then let your knees fall together. Bring your hands to your belly. Slide one hand up over your heart. The other hand stays on the low belly. Deepen, elongate the inhale. Deepen and elongate the exhale. Two more times, just like that. Feeling the breath, the fullness of the breath. Feeling the breath underneath your hands. And then heel toe, bring the hands by the belly and heel toe the feet in closer, and then hug the knees into your chest. Rock to your right side, pressing into the left hand, the right elbow as you lift yourself up to a seat. Crossing the legs, finding this easy seat. So to move into a meditation seat, it might feel more comfortable for you to elevate your hips a little bit, and you can do that with a block. So coming up on it. And then letting the knees come out a little bit wider. Your ankles, your heels in line with each other. So just notice how that feels, resting the sits bones on the block, getting a slight tilting forward of the pelvis and feeling the lengthening up of your spine, the knees falling down. If that's not comfortable for you, you can come to hero's pose. You can try this. 2 blocks sometimes works better if the knees are real tight. So again, though, finding where your seat is really supported. Noticing the lengthening up of the spine. Start with the gaze looking down at the floor. Have your chin parallel with the floor. To avoid, that helps to take any rounding out of the spine. So as we move into our meditation today, we'll imagine or visualize our spine as a straw. So with each inhale, imagine that you're sipping water up the spine, up the straw. And then as you exhale, this water is going back down the straw, back down the spine. And that water is pooling under your seat. So inhaling that water up the straw, lengthening the spine, and the exhale, moving the water back down the spine, cooling under the seat. So make any last movements that you need to, and then commit to your seat for meditation. Let your hands rest, palms either on the knees or thighs, either palms face down or face up. Or if it's more comfortable to let the palms, the hands rest in one another. If you choose that, have the dominant hand on top. So committing to your seat, withdrawing your senses and tuning in to your breath. Allowing yourself to turn inward now as we move into the silent part of our meditation. You can either stay in this meditation seat or you can transition onto your back to come into Shavasana, our final rest pose. Sharing a poem with you written by Dana Folds called Just for Now. Just for now, without asking how, let yourself sink into stillness. Just for now, lay down the weight you so patiently bear upon your shoulders. Feel the earth receive you, and the infinite expanse of the sky grow even wider as your awareness reaches up to meet it. Just for now, allow a wave of breath to enliven your experience. Breathe out whatever blocks you from the truth. And just for now, be boundless, free, with awakened energy tingling in your hands and feet. Drink in the possibility of being who and what you really are, so fully alive that the world looks different, newly born and vibrant just for now. The breath to become involuntary. The time to drop away from the roof of the mouth, softening the face. Shoulders softening away from the ears. Feel yourself grasping, holding yourself up, softening those folds. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. And invite small movements back in, wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes, circling wrists and ankles. Any movements that feel comfortable to come back to this space, to reawaken, maybe float the arms overhead for a long stretch. And then hug the knees into the chest. Rolling to your right side, extend the right arm out as a pillow to support the head. Take a couple of deep breaths there in a comfortable, nurturing fetal position. And making your way up to an easy seat with the legs crossed. Keeping the eyes at a soft gaze or closed, bringing your hands to your heart center, a soft bow of the head toward your heart to thank yourself for being here. However the practice made you feel today, to accept it as what was meant to be. To accept this moment that you're meant to be here right now, as is. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Let's seal the practice with one Om. Take a cleansing breath, full breath in, full breath out. Wishing you all a beautiful day, a beautiful week. Namaste. So Sue is subbing my Monday class. Wonderful. So next Thursday's class won't happen. And then the following week will be the last yoga and meditation class. And it's just reducing because the schedule's reducing for the summer. Yeah, I know. So Monday's class will continue all summer as long as when I'm here.
But this class will not?
But this class is just continuing until season. I guess she had to cut the whole schedule back, so every teacher, I believe.
Yeah, the sports committee yesterday was quite interesting. I wasn't there, but I heard that.
Oh, no. But there's a library of these classes recorded, because I turn the Zoom on. Yeah.
I've only been coming to this class for about a month, so a month of season, and I have never seen this class crowded.
This class is.
This class.
No, I think